My uncle told the police I attacked him unprovoked in his own home. Then I opened the camera app on my phone and handed it to the officer. My grandfather had a severe stroke last November. He lost the ability to speak clearly and needed a wheelchair. Before the stroke, he was the strongest guy I knew. After the hospital discharged him, our family had a meeting about his care. My uncle Richard volunteered immediately. He had tears in his eyes. He said it was his duty to take care of the old man. My aunts and uncles thought it was beautiful. I thought it was a scam. Richard had not held a steady job since 2014. He had a massive gambling problem. He only volunteered because he had just been evicted from his apartment. But I was just the 24-year-old granddaughter. Nobody listened to me. They gave Richard the keys to the house and power of attorney. I started dropping by unannounced. Richard hated it. He always made excuses about why I could not go into Grandpa's bedroom. I noticed little things. The house was freezing because Richard did not want to pay for heating oil. Grandpa was wearing dirty clothes. His wheelchair had a flat tire that Richard refused to fix. I decided not to wait for a tragedy. I bought a tiny motion-activated nanny cam online. Last week, when Richard was in the bathroom, I hid the camera inside a decorative clock in the living room. It linked directly to my phone. That brings me to yesterday afternoon. I was at my apartment working remotely. The app sent a notification to my screen. Motion detected. I opened the feed. The camera angle was perfect. I could see the recliner where Grandpa spent his entire day. Richard was standing over him. He had a clipboard in one hand and a pen in the other. He was screaming. He was telling Grandpa to sign a document transferring the deed of the house into his name. Grandpa was shaking his head. He looked terrified. He pushed the clipboard away with his good hand. Richard lost his temper. He grabbed my grandfather by the collar of his flannel shirt and yanked him forward. He screamed that he was tired of wiping an old man for free. Then Richard slapped him right across the face. My blood turned to ice. I left my work computer open, grabbed my car keys, and ran out the door. I lived 12 minutes away. I made it there in 7. I dialed emergency services from my car, reporting an assault in progress. I left my car running in the driveway and sprinted to the front door. It was locked. I used the spare key Grandpa hid under a loose brick years ago. I burst into the hallway. I could hear Richard in the kitchen yelling on the phone to his bookie. I walked into the living room. Grandpa was sitting in his chair, quietly sobbing. The side of his face was bright red. Richard walked back into the living room holding a beer. He stopped dead when he saw me. He asked what I was doing in his house. I did not say a word. I did not scream. I just walked straight up to him. I planted my feet, pulled my arm back, and punched him squarely in the center of his face. I put my entire body weight into it. I heard a sickening crunch. Richard dropped the beer. It shattered on the hardwood floor. He collapsed backward, clutching his face. Blood poured through his fingers. He started screaming that I was crazy, that he was going to send me to prison for assault. I stepped over him, knelt next to Grandpa, and held his hand. 2 minutes later, police sirens wailed down the street. 3 officers rushed through the open front door. Richard was on his knees, playing the victim. He pointed a bloody finger at me. He told the cops I was a psychotic granddaughter who broke into his house and attacked him unprovoked over an inheritance. He demanded they arrest me. One of the officers walked over to me. He pulled handcuffs off his belt. He told me to place my hands behind my back for aggravated assault. I stood up. I calmly pulled my phone out. I told the officer I needed him to watch a video before he put those cuffs on me. I opened the app and handed the phone over. I played the footage from 20 minutes earlier. The officer watched Richard scream at an 80-year-old stroke victim. He watched Richard yank him by the collar. He watched the slap. The cop handed my phone back. He looked at the other 2 officers and nodded his head. They walked right past me. They grabbed Richard by his arms, hauled him to his feet, and slammed him against the wall. They read him his rights while blood from his nose dripped onto the floor. Richard was crying, begging them to listen, but nobody cared. The paramedics arrived shortly after and checked out Grandpa. He was shaken up, but okay. I packed a suitcase for him right there. He is living in my guest room now. Richard was denied bail this morning. He is facing multiple felony charges. My aunts and uncles have been calling me constantly, apologizing for not believing me. I blocked every single one of their numbers.